what's up, everybody? J-Do and Jesse live in living color on our Cash Compound YouTube channel this afternoon for an Ask Me Anything. We are live in several places and spaces, so if you ever want to pre-register for this event, you can join us on the Zoom. Also, we're often on our TikTok channels. Mostly at this hour, it's at the Cash Compound. Sometimes it's at the Banking Bros. There's so many places to find us here. And we're into code cracking cash flow, helping walk and talk you through how to save and spend money at the exact same time. We're going to make sure we break it down for you in the triple P. We're going to introduce you to the problem, the process, and the product for the solution. That's what I'm working on, Jesse. Did you like that?
I love
triple
it.
P thing. The problem, the process,
and
then the product.
Yep.
Because I probably historically would have said the product first, and then the process. I thought about that for a little while.
Interesting. I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah,
I do see what you're saying.
I'm working on it is the thing. I'm working on that one. You know what else we're working on? We're working on a new debt reduction module to train and educate you on how to use infinite banking to get out of third-party consumer bills. Ladies and gentlemen, and I think I've got the new way to explain it, Jesse. It is no longer going to be down with debt, because it sounds like I'm down for that.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? I've been working on that too.
Okay.
I think it's done with debt.
Okay.
Done with debt.
I like that.
Shout out to Elizabeth Duraco. Did she give me that, or did I give it to her? And I said, wait, I think I got it. And then she just confirmed. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
With debt.
I don't know, but
I think it was like 2 days ago. So I was like, oh, that's what it is. It's done with
done with debt.
Done with debt.
No ambiguity there.
Exactly. The ambiguity was too strong, and we've been sitting on down with debt for like 3 years, and I was like, I still don't think that's right. I can't think of what the word. How do you change it? Done with debt. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. There's Will. Welcome home to Will. Okay, if anybody is out there on YouTube, you can always throw yourself into the chat and into the conversation. Oh, maybe you didn't hear much from me during that time. Maybe you heard a little bit out of Jesse's microphone from me, but I'm mic 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm in seat number 2.
How about that?
All right. Jesse wasn't going to tell me. Thanks.
I had nothing to gauge it by, so I thought it was good. You're sitting right beside me.
I am sitting
I'm going
right
to hear
here.
you either way.
You took off one ear because your brain told you something's wrong.
No.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. I was trying to tell you guys, 1, welcome. 2, I got a triple P and a down with D. Not down with D. Ladies, I apologize. Okay. Triple P. We've got a new way to train you and educate you around what we teach. Jesse, stick with me here.
I'm here, man.
Okay. It's going to be the problem, the process, and the product. And then we also are working on a new way to train you and how to get out of your consumer debts and expenses that are going straight out the window, paying interest at 3, 4, 5, 20% to everyone else. Done with debt, Jesse. Done. Not down with debt. Done with debt.
I like it. I really do.
Okay. Why don't we walk people through the triple P real quick?
Yeah.
The problem, the process, and the product. And then I thought maybe, do we add a 4th one? But triple P sounds cool. Better than quad P or 4P or whatever. Because it was like the profit or the payoff or something, and you do that at the end.
Listen, we wouldn't have to stop at 4. We wouldn't have to stop at 5.
That's
I feel
what
like
I'm saying,
we could
but
keep
is
going.
it too many if we do
Maybe.
like the heavenly number of 7? Is it heavenly number? That doesn't right. 7 is like the perfect number.
Yeah, perfection.
The perfect number. Okay, hold on. Jesse, introduce people once again. Remind them what the problem is. Most people don't even know. I didn't.
Yeah, the problem is that the average American is bleeding out interest dollars. About 34.5 cents of every dollar that we earn is leaving us forever, and it's just interest.
And I would have never come to that problem in my own brain without prompting. Ever. Nelson Nash in this book introduces us to that idea. So it's not going to be 34.5 for every single person, every single month.
Isn't that crazy to think about? Some people it could be more. Some people it's going to be less. But some people it's more too.
For sure. 17. Okay, page 17 here, he introduces us to the problem. And that problem, now let me put the problem in context.
Okay.
The problem in context is if you look in that book under a graph where he shows us how much in certain categories of expenses in our life are just headed straight out the window, out the back door, is that most people are trying to put their savings or investment opportunities in the front, in their forefront. Meanwhile, 34% is going out the back, and their front is like 10%. They're trying to gain an average of maybe 10%, keep 10%, or try to work with the market for gains of 7, 8, 9, 10%. Well, we don't win if 34 and a quarter, a full third of our money is going out the back window. We're not going to win. We're not making it. We're actually diving deeper into debt in an inflationary time.
Yep.
Right? This is the highest inflation in our lifetimes. Well, when we were born, that doesn't count. It was probably higher when Jesse and I were actually born. We're getting close to 40 now, but in our adult lifetime, this is the highest inflationary period that we've had. We've had less of a bull run in the market in the last couple of years. You're just not going to win with that much going out the back. We've got families now, and most people are not seeing how much they're paying in interest in terms of volume, not just in percentage rate. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the analogy that comes to mind is we're focusing on putting Band-Aids on little boo-boos while we're bleeding out from the femoral artery. And I use that kind of graphic language to say, well, financially speaking, that's what comes to my mind as you're describing what people are focusing on in front of them while all this interest is going out the back door at the same time. It's just trying to paint a picture in your mind of how grave of a situation it is, because inflation is rising. We see costs for everything going up. And at the same time, we're just letting out so much volume of our income. I mean, taking that dollar and just visualizing, okay, well, what if a third of that is leaving me forever, never to come back? It's a big thing that we're talking about. So that's why we start with the problem too, because who cares about product? Who cares about process if you don't even recognize what the problem is? So we're trying to start with that first. You know, those categories that Nash gave in the book, they're the things that are just the most apparent, right? Autos, homes, whatever our living expenses look like, and then savings. And if we just did start with savings, most people aren't saving 10%. And he's gracious in saying, well, even if you were saving 10%, which most people are not.
Right. They're saving more, probably 2, maybe 1.
Right. And you can look this stuff, you can look all this stuff up. Go to the debt clock
US
online to be able to see, you know, what the inflation status is like. You go and look up what the average American is saving. So he's saying if it's 10%, but still the rest of that, then 90% for the automobiles, for the homes, and for our lifestyle is where we're losing.
Big time. So Jesse, what is the process that's happening around us and normally we do not control that is going to change the paradigm if we can get our mind around how we take the, storm the Bastille here, or storm the Capitol if it's your people.
That's so interesting that you just said that, though. We just finished reading The Three Musketeers in my house, and the Bastille is mentioned over and over. It's so cool.
What's up, Liz? Did you hear me give you a shout out earlier? My mic wasn't up. Tell me if you heard it, and I'll repeat it. Hold on. Have you seen this new Three Musketeers video, this movie?
How new?
Like this year, this just came out?
No, I've not seen something this year. No.
Oh, no, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, hold off. We were talking about.
I mean, we just read the book. I mean,
the book is great.
Big book.
The book is great. I'm talking about.
And there's a reference to the Bastille in there.
There's the part 1 and 2.
Sorry, YouTube. Time out our talk about financial independence and autonomy to look it up.
The first one is whatever, and then the second one, Malay. Bro.
No.
So good.
Okay.
So good.
I mean, I'm going to go back to the original. Now that we've read the book in my house, we're going to go back to the original with Kiefer Sutherland and all those guys.
I've never seen that one. The one I've seen and is the 2002.
I've seen that one too.
Count. No. Wait. Did you say Three Musketeers or Count?
Three Musketeers.
Oh, no. That one is 90s Three Musketeers with
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. Is Leonardo
O'Donnell? No. Chris O'Donnell. I think his name's Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah. And then
Robin
from back in our day.
And then who else? What's his name? He's in 2.5 Men.
Charlie Sheen.
Yes, Charlie Sheen.
Okay, hold on. We'll right back with you. Oh, back for a minute. Sorry. We had to hear a word from our local sponsors. Liz, I was telling everybody that Down with Debt is going to change. It needed to shift. And I couldn't remember, did I come up with it or did you come up with it? You confirmed with me, and Jesse is now seconded, that we have a new way to teach people how to get out of their consumer debts. 3%, 4%.
Where'd the idea come from, Liz?
25%, 30%. Where did it come from? And remind us what it is. Liz is one of our team members who's helping us write scripting for some of these long form content videos, our presentations that we give you. We're building new slideshows. It's going to be awesome. And she's going to be coaching some of you very soon. So that's what it was. So give her a second.
Yeah, she's great. Well, here's the answer to your question before I got distracted with Three Musketeers and all this other stuff. The process that people are not aware of is banking. We're not taught about banking at our jobs, in our homes. Yeah, done with debt.
Done with debt.
But did you come up with that, Liz? Were you the one that came up?
Yeah, super clear. That's what he was saying. It's like no ambiguity. Good. That's what I needed from you guys.
But banking, yeah, the idea that everything is financed. Either we use debt for the things, again, the automobiles, the homes, the vacations, the education, whatever it is, or we pay cash for it. Banking, it's a function, it exists, it's a process. We're not taught about it, and we're certainly not told that we can be our own banker until you get a hold of something like that book or our presentation.
Okay, so once we get to that point, we understand the problem. We're leaking dollars out the wazoo, wherever that may be in your life, all over the place.
I think it comes from the Southern Hemisphere for sure.
Does it?
The wazoo? I mean, sounds like the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, but this is a family show, so I wasn't going to say
So that's why I said Southern Hemisphere.
We'll leave the scatological realism to Jesse Durham. Okay, you didn't know I knew that word, did you?
I don't know that word, so how would I know that you knew that word?
Okay, and then secondly, the process. The process is banking. Now, you just introduced us to this idea. Now, banking, what does that mean? Does that mean I have a debit card? Does it mean I put money inside a bank? How do I take control of the banking function? And what is the banking function? Like, what does it look like? What's going on at the bank? I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So I think the easiest place to start is just with vernacular, just with words that we already recognize and know. So think about this. Think about a food bank. Think about a river bank. Think about a snow bank. Think about a blood bank. So a bank is a place where some type of capital is accumulated. Now, for the normal person, we just automatically do this. It's actually called a direct deposit. We direct deposit all of our cash flow into a business, into an entity where we're not the owner. And these are things we don't think about, right? We're not the owner. We don't profit. We don't control. But we are banking there. So we're just putting our capital there. Well, we think, and product's going to be the third one that we'll get to in a second, we think that's where folks should consider banking capital, banking their money is something that they do own, something that they do control, something that they do profit from. But the process is just, well, first considering where does your money flow to?
Right.
We're saying it could be something that you own.
I love it. Okay, so let's move right along. And then I have a story because I just got off the phone. I was a little late here this afternoon for our weekly AMA because I just got off the phone with someone that I think I can relate in our 3-part series, our triple P today. That's what we're going through. And that's the product. So how in the world can we benefit, own, and control, profit off of it? What is this product that we know, and why is it the best option and the ideal asset for us to be able to be invoking the banking function back into our life? How do we do that? How do we call the banking function into play with this product?
Right, like Thor with the hammer.
Yeah, 100%. How do we get this,
Banking.
and what do we do with it? Why is it the thing?
Yeah, it's a whole life insurance policy.
What?
So we've heard of whole life insurance. That's not new. So really what I would say is it needs to be a properly structured, a properly built whole life insurance policy. And it also should be from a mutual company that pays dividends. Mutual company that pays dividends. So mutual company is just a company that you're part owner of by simply owning one of these policies, and dividends. I mean, people know that that's a good thing, dividends. So that's what we want. There are more than a dozen reasons of why I would say so, but just to say the ones again that I've already said, it's a piece of private property. You own it. I don't own the commercial bank where direct deposits are made. I don't own that bank. I don't own that building.
Liz, when we're talking about this and writing scripts on this product, it's a piece of private property. He didn't even realize he's out here giving me more ammunition. Write that down, man. We want to put that in the script.
For sure.
The product is a piece of private property.
Right. That you can perpetuate profits into your posterity.
Boom.
For your
Whatever
progeny.
He just said. Are we recording this? Get this down, please, ma'am. This is going in the script.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's something that you own. It's a piece of private property. So you own it.
That picked a peck of pickled peppers, people.
Right. And
I'm sorry.
No, I get it. I get it. We're on a roll here. And because you own it, then you therefore also control it. We don't typically control when we get money from a bank unless it's money that we've deposited there. And everybody understands car loans, mortgages. I mean, that's just so normal. We're just told to do it that way. So we do it that way. But we don't control that. The bank controls that. They're dictating terms to us. They're going to tell us if they'll even approve us for these things and the interest that we're going to pay to them, et cetera. And then that interest right there does lead me to the third, which is the profiting. So we can own it, we can control it, and we can profit from it because it's a whole life policy. Whole life is a private asset that you own and control.
Okay, now when you say control, can you dive a little bit deeper? Recently, and then the second thing I'm going to ask, go there first, but I don't want to forget, you said properly structured. What does that mean?
Yeah.
We hear that a lot, we say it a lot, and I was watching some other great folks with real good content on the internet this past month, and they said, everyone's talking about properly structured or designed right or whatever, or engineered for use. What the crap does that actually mean? Will anyone explain it? So first, control. What do you mean we have control? If I own life insurance, what do you mean I control it? It doesn't sound like something I control.
Okay. So from the start, it's a contract. So as the owner, you would determine ahead of time what amount of premium you're wanting to pay into that contract. So that's the number that you pick. It's not picked for you. You pick it, which is really cool. So you're controlling that aspect. You're controlling the input. You're controlling the cash flow to this private piece of property of yours. You're controlling that aspect. From its conception, you have a contractual right to access capital from that piece of private property. So it grows and accumulates a compounding pool of capital that you're not asking for permission now. You're accessing that pool of capital for, and we'll go right back to the things we've already been talking about, your cars, your homes, your vacations, like whatever it is that you're going to use money for. It's banking, okay? So you're accessing the capital for yourself. And then unlike with a commercial bank, you get to control the repayment back into your private banking system. So you're the one that's picking the premium. You're the one that's picking the input. You're the one that picks and controls when you access it. You're the one that picks and controls when and how and if you even put that back.
Got it.
That's what I mean by control.
I like it. I like this a lot. I like this conversation. My second question was design properly.
Right.
Help us out.
Yeah, so we're not just trying to flippantly say that, and it's a detailed conversation based on the individual also. Now, there are going to be some things that permeate for virtually every case, but we offer, for example, here at the Cash Compound, private one-on-one consultations for free with all of our clients. So when I say properly structured, that policy should be built based on you and your situation. Maybe you're self-employed, but the next person's a career person. Maybe you're, single, unmarried, and maybe somebody else has 6 kids over here. So that makes a big difference, right? Just you and your intended purpose and things like that. But there are going to be some things, of course, that we're going to generically do on a policy as well. This is not the plain Jane vanilla whole life insurance of our grandparents, because we have some advantages in how we can structure it now.
Right. So when we're talking about this technically, for those of you who want to know more detail, I'll jump in with some of those technical pieces.
Sure.
One, we're going to utilize this product from a place that is a mutual style company, 100 years old, A-rated, been paying dividends. In our 3-cup setup here, we show that off in this little shot glass a lot. Dividends are return of premium, extra premium, are profits from the company, and we're going to elect to have them put into our depository, our premiums that make the policy bigger. Okay, I was trying to use as many P's as possible, but also use the visuals here. Not to be funny. What I'm trying to help you guys understand is a dividend paying or participating style policy from a mutual insurance company is where we're going to get this from. Now, can we go to a website and just find that?
No.
No, not at all. We need to go to a brokerage house like the Cash Compound with different coaches and agents who set this up on purpose. If you're trying to teach this to your agent, you're already making the wrong mistake. You're thinking right up until that point. You need to utilize someone who's been doing it. And then number two, what are we buying from this entity? We've said it many times. Are we buying term life insurance? Are we buying a universal product? Are we buying candy bars from the front counter?
Whole life insurance.
Whole life insurance. That's the type that's guaranteed to grow in cash flow. The premiums are fixed. The contract is fixed and has to grow. The cash flow will be there. All of that is going to happen guaranteed. It's not going to expire or term out. And number three, we are going to, as brokers and agents for you, set it up for cash use early, for a lot of cash volume to be able to run through this policy that has liquidity on it.
Yes.
If we're going for what you mentioned, plain Jane vanilla, you were probably talking about that. The type of whole life insurance that grows a whole lot slower cash values, and you're just not going to get to them for early and easy access from the jump.
And I used to have some of that. I had 3 whole life insurance policies before I started buying them this way.
And you got rid of them?
Yeah.
Yikes. Who told you that?
And that's not going to be true for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to be true for everybody. I had not had them very long is one thing. Okay. And then the death benefit that I got with my properly structured policy still either equaled or exceeded what I originally had anyway.
Gotcha.
So that's certainly not going to be the case for everybody. But yeah, I still like pointing that out. I had whole life insurance and I had it with a mutual company, but it just wasn't built for banking.
Gotcha.
Because my agent didn't know how to do that.
Right.
Because they weren't doing it themselves.
From a company that didn't have those options and those riders. Yeah. Okay, we're going to answer a question that we got in the chat here in just one second. But before we do that, we are going to promote what's happening next week and the following several Thursdays after that in July. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a new type of format coming to you, but at the same bat time and channel for the next 4 Thursdays. July 4th, starting on Independence Day, all throughout the month, it's going to be the Cash Cultures Collide talk. It's going to be a collaboration with our friend Denzel Napoleon Rodriguez and his YouTube channel audience. It's going to be right here, 3:30 Eastern time next Thursday, but all Thursdays in July, starting at 3:30 Eastern. We're calling it the Cash Cultures Collide because the Banking Bros operation, me and my brother and the Cash Compound, was started by a set of brown and black brothers here. And we met Denzel, who's a guy who has his roots in the Dominican arena. Is it Dominican? I believe. He's marrying a Colombian, so now I'm getting confused. Next year he's getting married to a Colombian, but my man is brown, okay? He's brown, people. And so we're going to come together and have a conversation around the mindset of the minority and money. Of course, it's got to be alliterated, right? The minority money mindset. We're going to be talking about that in 4 distinct different topics coming up in the next couple of weeks. So he teaches personal finance accountability and mindset. He teaches velocity banking. Okay. And we can combine that with what you know to be true about what we teach, infinite banking. And we're going to walk a path down from a historical perspective, from a monetary policy perspective with governments. We're going to talk through it through a religious perspective. That's going to be one of the last topics we talk about on the 4th Thursday. It's going to be real good. So you can be here. White folks, come on. Jesse, that means you.
We're invited?
Yeah, you can come. Patriots can come too.
Awesome.
Right? We're good. There was Pilgrims and Savages. James Baldwin said it. Well, you root for the pilgrim type character. That's not what he used. It wouldn't have been that word. But the cowboy or the pilgrim, you work for that. You root for that type of character, watching all the cartoons coming up in the 20th century and things like that. And then they're taking on the savages and they're moving west and they're homesteading and all this stuff. And then you realize that the savages were you, and that changes over the course of your life. We're going to make sure that we find a home here monetarily. with our families, with our mindset. And we think that we can change that idea from downtrodden, outcast, and savage to a money mindset, a legacy mindset, a wealth building mindset. We want to make sure that not only is it not just someone else's problem to fix, but it comes right here home.
Sure.
That's what we're going to do in the next 4 weeks. You're invited. Come on.
Love it.
Okay. All right. You've got a question to answer right here from...
I said it's a dope name.
Dupay? Dope?
I think so. I mean, that's what it
could
looks
be
like.
dope.
That's what it looks like to
Could be
me.
Dupay? Like toupee? Dupay? What's up? We appreciate you, whoever you are.
Yeah.
And the question is, Jesse, is $50 for whole life insurance doable? What would you say?
Depends on what you mean by doable. Can a policy be built for $50? I don't know what you mean. $50 a month, $50 a year, $50 a week.
Well, we probably can guess. If we had to do our best guess,
but I'm not going to guess.
We're going to go ahead and give a best guess while hopefully dupe or dupay. You're going to have to get us some phonetic spelling, dope. Tell us how we should be saying this. We appreciate you. Hopefully you're subscribing to this channel here on YouTube. Okay, so $50 a month is probably what you're thinking, but we don't know. $50 a month, $50 a quarter, $50 semi-annually, $50 annually. Life insurance company payment modes. You have insurance. I have insurance now. Cars, phone, fire. It's called house insurance, fire insurance, right? All that type of stuff. Property insurance, casualty insurance. Do they take money weekly? Why do people ask us this?
They do, though. I mean, because we're so conditioned to contribute to different qualified plans and whatnot every time that we're paid. I think that's one reason why.
Yeah, but none of it. Maybe it's because of their jobs. Maybe it's like that. I think so. Okay, monthly, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to do a $50 a month premium into whole life insurance, that is great. It will not get you the style policy that is built for banking. You can do that, and you might buy a final expense style policy.
Sure.
You might buy a policy on a Gerber baby for $50. But if you're going to do a policy for the process that fixes your problem in the financing space, that's going to be a little bit too tight. Okay. So to build a policy properly structured, as Jesse would have said earlier, for cash, we've got to remember that our bodies are part of the equation, and it's going to at least require 10 times your age per month. So I'm 40 this year. $400 a month is going to be my minimum threshold standard to be able to build a policy the way and style that we're talking about using it for money, for cash, for financing. Okay, so doesn't mean you should not call us or watch our video. It means we need to make sure that we're with you. Dope.
Told you.
Boom.
What a neat. I've never seen it spelled that way. That's neat.
Dope Creatives. Tell us what you do out there, Dope Creatives. Appreciate you hanging out around us. So $50 a month is going to be too tight. $50 a week is going to be fine. $200 a month, if you're 20 years old, sounds good. Or if you're a minor, put it on a kid, something like that. Could be possible. Let's talk it through. We might do a term conversion if that's the right thing for you. There are still a couple of options, and we want to have that cash consultation with you, free of charge, of course, like Jesse mentioned. Okay, we're going to put that, yes, and there we dropped in, our producers dropped in the link. So just click that link, watch the vid, pick a time. We'll call you very soon. Okay, Jesse, recap our 3-part Triple P series here.
Yeah.
And then I want to tell you about a conversation I just had, because I think we can connect the dots, and I'll give as many details as I can, and hashtag protect the wealthy. Won't tell you everything about the guy, but I'll tell you all the dumb things he just told me.
Okay, I'm looking forward to the story. You're welcome, Dope. So here's the framework. The framework is that there's a problem, and that problem is that the average American is bleeding out interest dollars. We're losing about 1/3 of our income just to interest. Well, the process that can remedy that is becoming our own banker, is learning our save and spend system. So we can save our money, grow it, compound it forever into the rest of our lifetimes while still having access to that compounding pool of capital for the things that we want to do. And then the product that allows us to implement that process best is a properly structured whole life policy from a mutual company that pays a dividend.
Love it. Now, we had an interesting conversation on Thursdays. We have a team meeting with several of our folks who are out there being agents. And I like the way you stress the word, it's the best tool.
Yeah.
Sometimes around here we say it's the ideal asset for the process of fixing our problem here. And there are other tools you could potentially use. Once you understand banking, you realize that, heck, if half of the features fell off of whole life insurance, I'd still want to be my own banker.
Yep.
I just might have to find a different tool to do it with.
Yep.
And that's actually possible. There are other types of tools that could work similarly, obviously financial tools.
Yeah,
and
they'll
things
check
like that.
2 or 3 boxes.
Yeah, they'll check 2 or 3 boxes, but whole life insurance, how many boxes do you think that it checks?
More than 12.
More than 12, okay? Well, give us a few of the things that we're, looking for. Because it helps people understand these features.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, for sure. So to recap the 3 or so that I've already said, it's private.
Okay.
So this is not public information. This is a private asset that you own control. And then I literally just said the word without trying to. You have control because it is private property.
Okay.
And what was the third one that I said earlier? I was just trying to repeat those first. Can't remember now, but you have guaranteed growth. All right. So, well, actually that's 2, right? So you have growth. Everybody wants growth on their money, but it's another thing to have guaranteed growth. So having growth and having guarantees on that growth, because it's a compound growth, is a completely different one. So that puts us up to 4. It can have litigation protection. Every state has different protections because life insurance is such an old product. It's such a time-tested product, which in and of itself would be another characteristic. Actually, it's a time-proven asset. I mean, it's been around for over 200 years. I mean, our tax code wasn't even started until 1913, so it's been around, predates that by a long shot. It has inflation protection. It has a death benefit that gives you a tax-free windfall to the next generation. The compounding pool of capital that I've already mentioned gives you tax-free access to that compounding pool of capital. So, I mean, they're just
That's 8.
benefits after benefits after benefits.
Now, he said 12, he gave us 8, but fortunately, we have a
You
whole
tell- you
presentation
tell me
that has those 8. We have a whole presentation that has those 8 built into it, so that's cool.
We do. All right.
I'm out here. I don't want to exaggerate to the people. Dope Creative wants the truth.
Well, I even already there are 16 that I could write down given enough
Flexibility.
time. So that's why I said, yeah, there you go, flexibility,
It depends
liquidity.
it depends on how you define everything, because you're like, okay, does flexibility mean the same thing as control? Does it mean the same thing as
No, flexibility is
Right.
definitely its own because you're the one that's controlling the input. You're
Yep.
the one that's controlling the repayment and things like that.
So that's 9.
It's got liquidity, so it's not just growth. It's not just compound growth.
Yep.
It's not just tax-free growth, but you can actually get to the growth. You don't have to wait until you're 59 and a half to be able to get to it. So there are several.
Okay, so I just got off the phone with someone that I want to give you a little bit of a recap to. My brother sent me this person's credentials and their contact info. Hey, here's a message I just got. Call this dude. I went to type in his number into our system, and I saw we had previously stopped talking in 2022. I had reached out to this person before we talked, and I was like, oh, there's several different, conversation starters in here. And we had not talked in 2 years, and he was halfway through the process, it seemed, with us potentially getting a policy based on my notes. Mm-hmm. Well, his notes from my brother today talked about his policy, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to keep it as is. He obviously liked it, but it was maybe eating him alive in terms of he picked a premium contribution he could not keep up with.
Okay.
He had it for 2 years, but I didn't recognize these numbers. He was calling us and was talking about a possible exchange from one policy to another. In the HR world at our jobs, we call it a rollover. In the non-qualified life insurance world, meaning no tax life insurance world, a rollover is called a 1035. Mm-hmm. So just to relate that to a few of you. So I called this dude. I said, bro, let's go. Let's pick up where we left off. What's going on? I happened to see that we had talked before. But I'm seeing some of your notes here. Your policy as is. Okay, I'll give you some credentials and some numbers here. $40,000 per year in premium for the last 2 years. So he's put in 80 at this point. He has around $52,000 of liquidity in his cash values. He is wondering about a 1035 exchange because his income has changed. Okay, his income has changed. I guess I do have some of these credentials right here. So let's look it up again. And
laid off.
I didn't know. He hadn't said that yet.
Okay.
Okay, it's a 7 pay. Okay, it's a 7-pay. So I was like, okay, you definitely didn't get this from us based on the way we build policies normally and the companies we use. He has a loan interest rate of 6.2. So if he borrows from his liquid pool, if he gets money from the insurance company, it's an amortized loan at 6.2% per year. Okay, and okay, that's what he told me.
Okay.
And so I said, hey, bro, what's going on? Okay, we're going to call him Mr. Green. We're going to call him Mr. Green for 2 reasons. One, it seems to fit our motif. Second, that's his last name, actually. So I hope you're not listening. Maybe he is.
It's very generic.
Okay, it is generic, but that's literally his last name. Okay, and he told me he went to someone else, ended up going to someone else to get this policy. For whatever reason, he's circling back to us. And he says,
Isn't that interesting?
yeah, it is interesting. Okay, and here's a couple things that he said. He had been slightly disgruntled or disillusioned by the fact that his interest rate had gone from about 3.5 to 6.2. So it had doubled, he said. I said, interesting. The second thing is, hey, man, I was making different incomes 2 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know if I can keep up with this.
Okay.
I said, how are you getting this in? Okay, dope. How is he getting it in? He's getting it in quarterly. Okay. 10 grand a quarter, 40 grand a month. I said, cool. Okay, that's how you're getting it in. I said, number one, do you realize that in the flexibility of your premium payments, do you realize that you have the ability to actually give the insurance company less? I don't think you should just up and get rid of the policy just because.
For sure.
Without me asking you questions. And number two, I'm not in it to win it, just like we'll transfer it over, get you something new that I can get paid off of.
Right.
That's not my main goal. Plus, I think I can ask you 20 questions here to even understand what the problem is we're trying to fix. So I said, number one, do you know you can go down to the base premium? So his base premiums are somewhere around $3,300 a quarter, based on the way this policy was built. That would have been the plain Jane style that you would have said. The plain Jane base insurance is 33. He said, yes, I know that. I said, cool. Second, if you want to go down to the base quarterly, well, then you can put in $1,000 a month on this thing. He said, yep, I do know that. I said, okay, cool. Second, it seems like you're kind of disillusioned by the fact that your interest rate has changed at this particular company. Great company. We don't normally use this company. I knew of this company. 100-year-old mutual company, A-rated dividends. Ain't nothing but a thing over there. Just keep on trucking. They're going to do what they do. That was good. And he said, yes, I also seem to understand that. But man, 6.2 in my interest rate that I'm charged is just, it was a jump. And I said, I got you. That has happened to most of our policies. Sure has happened to most of our policies. And I said, well, let's talk about these things and figure out where you are. Well, it turns out he had also bought 2 more policies from this guy he decided to go off with. And he bought 2 IULs for his children. I said, oh, bro, let's start talking. Now, IUL, Jesse, is something that's very popular. There's a lot of opinions about it. Can you tell us some truths and some opinions about IUL? As I asked him questions and I talked to him, I said, hold on, let's make sure we're on the same page and let's use the same terms about what you have, what you think you have, what you don't have, what you like, what you don't like. How would you describe an IUL for the process of infinite banking?
Well, it's not ideal. For the process of infinite banking, it's not the ideal asset. There's a literal page in the Becoming Your Own Banker book where the author, R. Nelson Nash, talks about whole life and why whole life and not any kind of universal life. So I'm not just picking on index universal life. I'm not just picking on IULs when I say that it's not ideal for the infinite banking concept. And I practice what I preach for myself. I own several policies from multiple insurance companies, and they're all whole life. Don't have any IULs myself.
Page 39, by the way.
Thank you, brother. And it's not ideal in a word because of risks. There are certain risks in that type of a contract that is put back on the owner of the contract instead of left on the 100-plus-year-old insurance company. I would rather have as many risks alleviated off of myself and put onto the insurance company. And whole life does that.
Right. You guys with us out there? Are you familiar with IULs? Have you heard about IULs? Give us a hand clap out there, a heart, a like, or any questions about that. So where we get back into the story with him is I said, well, you need to understand some of those risks that Jesse explained very well in your IULs. You need to understand the longevity play here. You need to understand what's available now, if anything. All these things are kind of important. And I was trying to make sure he knew that. Okay. Then the next thing we got back to is trying to help him understand the process of banking.
Yeah.
Jesse, do you believe the way I just teed that up and how you've dealt with clients over the last few years that in a lot of ways he'd forgotten the process he was supposed to be doing? He had.
And the problem.
Yes, 100%.
Because the problem is that
this is a military veteran. Okay. Good dude, right? And so I always am relating to these Navy Federal guys and these USAA people because I have those bank accounts. And I said, hey, man, first off, are you paying any interest to the bank? Wells Fargo, City Chase, USAA, Navy Federal. Do you have some credit cards? Do you have house payments, car payments, et cetera? And he didn't have much, but he did have some. And I said, well, hey, according to what you've got in cash value now, including the loan he recently took out, he took out a $7,800 loan recently.
Okay.
He had about 52 or something totals in cash value, he had taken a loan. I said, you have 45,000 or so cash value, liquidity, equity, money available. Are you utilizing that as a bank to solve your banking problem? The bank is a place and then it's a process. Are you doing any processing of banking in your life with this money? What do you think his answer was?
No, of course
he hadn't been at all. And I said, bro, you've got to remember something. You are paying a volume of interest in your family of four, I think, 2 teenage/almost grown children. One of them recently got a car. Now, I didn't ask him all the details on how that financing project went down. He's got the GI Bill coming in for some of his family members coming up, right? The kids are or wife is going to take a new class, things like that. The government is going to take care of some of that stuff. But you've got monies in your banking system that are not being deployed to solve your problems or your future problems.
Good word to use with a military guy deployed.
Right.
Yeah.
You haven't put these dollars on leave yet. Or maybe you have put them on leave. Leave from any responsibility. They ain't doing nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, am I making any sense to you? If you're still out there, ask us questions on our YouTube channel. Thank you for following. Join our Facebook group as well. We have one called Infinite Bankers. You can find it by clicking that link there. And if you do so, you're going to get into conversations like this with some of our coaches who respond quite often. You can ask, you can be answered, you can get into a community where, heck, you're not trusting us yet, but you want to see other people answer and talk to you about what they're doing. Totally
it's a good place for that.
Totally fine. Yes. Okay. It's getting better. It's getting more robust. And now we just passed the 830 person mark, I think, inside that community. So I'm sure we'll hit 1,000 before Veterans Day. Like I got that in there, November 11th, the 11th day, 11th hour, 11th minute, baby. Which war was that ended? World War I, baby.
Okay.
Veterans Day, World War I, the Great War. It ended on 11/11/11/11/11.
I didn't remember that. Okay.
Come on now. Okay. So Jesse's not a patriot. Anyway. Okay, here we go.
Because I couldn't regurgitate a date.
Yes, that's exactly what are you not watching all these videos they got on Amazon Prime? I watch all the war movies. That's why I remember. Okay, so what I was reintroducing him to was the fact that recently I had I gave a loan out. I talk about it from time to time to one of our office workers here. So one of our coaches who leads our implementation team, and for our starters, you can get on those calls on Fridays right now. She needed one of her problems to be solved was a physical problem of heat in the house. Her HVAC system went out. She called the HVAC company. They said they could fix things for $8,500 plus. She didn't have that in cash. They could finance it, 17%. She was looking at that, moaning and complaining, and she goes to hit the button, and I said, pause, hold up, wait a minute. You could borrow that money from me. I can stroke you a check for $8,500. Do you not remember what we do here all day? And I was like, she was like, oh, yeah. I was like, talk to the hubs, come back. She talks to the hub. She comes back. And I was like, am I writing you a check? She says, yes. What are the terms and conditions? That's what she asked me. Jesse, what did I say to her?
I don't know what you said. I mean, you could have said anything.
That's what I said. I said anything. What are we going to do? You're going to pay me back with interest. I'm going to finance this project for you so you can get it done, but we don't have to do 17%. We don't have to do it on their terms. What terms work for you?
Yep.
Whatever might work for you is probably going to work for me.
Very cool.
We put it on paper, and 2 seconds later, of course, it took me a couple days to get the check from the insurance company, but we put it on paper, and I handed her a check for $8,500, 10%. She said she'd pay back over 2 years. And I said, great. Let's figure out the number. See, I didn't even know what that payment would be. We figured it out. Is it $350, something like that? And she just zells it right over. Red Rover, zell that mess right over on the 28th of every month, baby. And her problems are being solved through a banking system that's privately owned by her friend.
Because you deployed the capital.
We deployed the capital. This money ain't on leave. It's out there in the field, baby. It's coming back.
Concrete.
It's a war zone. Yes, it's coming back with friends. It took hostages. I'm going to make some money off this, some interest off this, and we're solving her problem. And her community, her environment, AKA me, and her company that she works with and for, we're rising tide is raising all ships. If I have more money, then can't I use that money within my community better as well, which is her, which is you, which is the people that we work with and around. That's what it's all about. We're solving the problem on a personal, contractual, guaranteed level.
Now, is this a story you're telling me and everybody on the live AMA, or is this something that you also related to this guy?
I helped him understand that. I said, hey, do your kids do they need cars? And he mentioned to me, Mr. Green said, oh, well, the 18, 20-year-old just got a car a couple months ago. And I said, I didn't even ask him how he financed it. I said, well, is this the only car that they're ever going to buy, drive, and own? He said, no. I said, okay. Well, when they need to finance or buy the next one, who should they be getting money from? Mm-hmm. The bank on the corner or dad? He's like, you know what? You're reminding me of why I started all this 2 years ago. But he hasn't been around the campfire. He's been out here in the trenches and getting confused about what's going on. There's a lot of warfare coming around, a lot of Scud missiles coming at you.
Shell shocked from the conventional environment.
Exactly, and he's forgetting why we came. Look, Semper Fi, people, always faithful to the banking system. I don't know how to say banking system in Latin. Jesse, give it to us.
Semper Fi?
To the banking system. Add that part. Always
I don't know to the banking system in
he
Latin.
Ain't Latin. He ain't patriot. Okay, very good.
What does Latin have to do with? You don't know.
Okay, so
what's up, Chris?
Yes, I helped him and reminded him what was going on. He was like, look, I really need to think through this, because I helped him understand, look, I'm not breaking even in this one policy that I have till year 5. That kind of put me off a little bit. And I said, bro, you're not even solving the banking function in your life. If you decided to deploy some of your approximately $45,000 of cash values out there to your family or your friends or whoever, me, what could it look like? Yeah, wouldn't it be expanding your banking system and getting bigger and better and breaking even sooner? He was like, it was like Michael Scott when he was showing the people the pyramid scheme in the middle of, and he was like, I'll call you back. You know what I'm saying? He was like, that's what he basically said. He was like, hold on, let me make a call. I'm gonna call you back next week. He was like, bro, at one point he was like, man, I'm hating you right now. Cause he was reminded what he should have been doing and he forgot about it. He thought the product was gonna solve the problem. The product is the best way for you to get busy and solve the problem, but he wasn't using it that way. He'd forgotten. I got you. So I'm so glad that he called, and we're not going to make fun of everybody. If we do, we're not going to tell you on the live AMAs. And so Mr. Green, congratulations. He's coming back into the system, getting his mind right, looking at his cash flows, plural, and he's going to, we're going to talk through this. You know, he's got IULs he doesn't know if he's going to want to keep. He's got this policy that he might keep, but he might want to exchange into something he can work better with because the premiums are not his favorite based on his income. All sorts of things. We're here for it. We've got another question from Mimi out there in our YouTube audience. Hey guys,
Mimi was here last week.
Mimi, what's up? Welcome back. I wasn't, so Mimi, good to see you. Hey guys, who helps set this up as a banking policy? I have a policy with Chris. All right, Chris Group. That's 2 separate lines. Yep. Jesse, you got it.
I mean, so we have free consultation calls with clients or prospective clients. If you're already working with somebody, if you're already working with a Chris, I mean, hopefully they're authorized practitioner, but otherwise we have a free presentation, links in our bio, where you can watch our introductory presentation. That's the nuts and bolts. So what we're hosting right now is our Ask Me Anything. But after watching our introductory presentation in the same website, same link, it's everywhere, is you can get on our calendars where we can have a one-on-one conversation to set up a policy for you.
We'd love to help you do it. If you're talking about the Chris, which you probably are, it's probably why you didn't give us the last name. Chris is in Denver right now in the middle of a meeting. I know where he is. Half of our friends are there. So who did you talk to when you say group, that the person in that group who you talked to is the person you need to call back, Mimi, at this point. I would suggest that first. If not, go down Jesse's route. We are here for your help. But try to call back the person you may have already spoken with and keep things going in that environment. But a lot of friends are actually in at a seminar in Colorado right now. You know where they're at? Oh, I was there last year at it. Couldn't pull it, swing it this year. Got a couple of fun Patriot things that are going on this weekend, actually. Got to be at some events.
Cool.
Mimi, you're good. You're good, Mimi. Okay, plus there might be a delay on when we see your stuff. So just let us know if there's anything else we can help you with. We're going to wrap things up here. The Triple P Hour is what this has been about. It's the problem. Reintroducing to people what's going on in their financial life and what's leaving, what's not going on. It's just leaving, going out in their financial life. The process that can fix that problem. The process that right now is causing that problem because you don't control it. And then the product in which you can take back your control. Okay, that's what we want to help you understand. It's the Triple P. We don't have slides on this yet, but I think it's coming soon.
Should build them out.
Oh, it's coming, people. It's coming. The Triple P. Yes, we're going to deploy this stuff. So please catch us next week. You can join. I don't know if we're going to drop that link for you, or if you're watching a repeat performance of this live, you're going to be able to join us all July Thursdays, 2024. We're doing the Cash Cultures Collide Hours with Denzel Rodriguez. Check out his Velocity Banking Special YouTube subscription channel and his personal finance coaching that he does. We love him over there, and he's coming over here, and he's going to walk and talk through several different topics with us. The minority money mindset, the jurisdiction, as he wants to call it, the infinite banking and velocity banking conversations, and taking your one of our weeks has something to do with your responsibility, taking back your responsibility or control or changing that mindset. All that is coming up Thursday. It's going to be me and Denzel, so I'll be back with you next Thursday. Peace, everybody. Have a great week. We'll catch you next Thursday for Cash Cultures Collide. Thanks, Jesse.
Absolutely. That was a good conversation you had.
The one I had with this guy?
Mm-hmm.